Sharon from the office, nick the champagne, let's get off it. Just in time for Roland's.
That's that number one for me.
Still a few
I'm a bit of Cammy, 100 to 1.
When them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing "This'll be the day that I die."
What?
This'll be the day that I die.
'Cause I love you, baby.
Are we going to get number one? Do I take a bit of 4 to 1? Are you going to be number one?
Who knows? Who knows? Two characters to Tyson Fury. There's Tyson Fury, the man, and then there's the Gypsy King, the entertainer. And it's totally two different people. You won't believe how different them two people are. It's like another person sat there. It's not me today. It's an entertainer. It's somebody who's never been affected by mental health. If that makes any sense at all. The Gypsy King has been very pissed off with Tyson Fury as a man because the man has been affected by stuff that can bring everyone down, but Gypsy King has never ever had any defaults. He's done everything asked of him. He's been all around the world and boxed all the best champions there's been, and he's never ever defaulted.
Which character do you prefer?
Well, you know, when I'm in a boxing ring and when I'm doing my stuff and entertaining, then the Gypsy King comes out and he thrives. But while I'm at home and while I'm doing day-to-day stuff and while I'm just a normal person, a husband, a father, a son, then Tyson Fury, the man, is where I want to be.
Fabulous.
And before, I always used to wear a mask. Always. That's why the book's called Behind the Mask. I used to put on an act. I was a performing monkey. Wind me up, watch me go. And that's how it was for years.
Yeah.
Because being a good boxer wasn't enough. Never. It's never enough. Because even if you're a top boxer, but nobody's interested in what you do, then it's pointless. To be a big pay-per-view star, to be a crossover star, to make people want to watch and get big viewing figures, you have to do something. You have to act like a crazy man. And if you look at all the great champions from the past, the ones we can remember,
Muhammad Ali.
they were all outgoing, controversial. They were all showmen, every one of them. And that's what I had to portray. But now, it's like I can just... Now I've got to that level, I just be me now. There's no mask anymore. There's no performances. Nothing. All me.
What made you do that? Listen, it was fantastic entertainment, but what made you do it?
Well, I've been a lifelong WWE fan all my life.
Really?
Watched it all the time. Been a big fan of all the big wrestlers, and now my son is, my oldest daughter is. They love it. They play the PlayStation game every single day. They wrestle up and down in school and wherever else. What child doesn't like wrestling?
But I'm guessing, I mean, to get into that arena, that stage, it's something you must have done. You can't just go like click your fingers saying, right, I'm going to take on a top wrestler. Yeah,
I did. I'm athletic enough to be able to learn quickly. Vince McMahon said he's recruited all sports stars from all different sports, and he's never seen someone come into their game, have a couple of training sessions and pick it up like that.
Was it a one-off?
We've left the door open.
See, I think you like it.
WrestleMania's coming up in April. So, yeah, who knows? Never say never, for sure.
Where's WrestleMania?
It'll be in Florida.
What did Frank say?
Frank didn't know until he saw me live on Fox Network fighting.
How was that received?
It wasn't, it didn't go down too well with management, promoters, trainers, family. Everyone's like, oh, the Wilder fight. You're going to get injured. It's like, the Wilder fight may as well be a million moons away. There's so much going to happen in between now and the Deontay Wilder fight. Why would I even be thinking about Deontay Wilder months before I'm even fighting him? A lot of people out there suffering with mental health. It's a big epidemic at the moment. You know, the government's going to spend 800 odd million quid on mental health. And I think there's a lot of people that need hope, help, and the will to just go forward and open up to people. And this book gives a real insight in what it's like to bottle it all up and not tell anyone and hide it and be ashamed of it. And it gives you an insight on what it's like to come out and
Tyson, did that come to you early when you were at school, or...?
Yeah, I've always suffered with anxiety and depression, but I never knew what it was up until I got educated on it in 2016. So I used to suffer and think, oh, this is just the way life is. I thought it was like a mood swing to begin with. I didn't know. I didn't understand it. Always happy, unhappy, up and downs, highs and lows. And it wasn't until I had a mental breakdown in 2017 that I really got to grips and started getting educated on the matter and learning all about it.
When you say a mental breakdown, you were just confused. You think, what's wrong with me? Why am I like this? Or when did you realise I'm having a breakdown?
I've had a couple of breakdowns in my life.
Yeah.
The biggest ones that stand out, one was in 2012. That was the first time of all the depression I've had in my life where I started thinking about suicide.
Oh.
And start thinking about smashing cars into trees and jumping in front of trains and off bridges and stuff. And I didn't know why I was feeling like this, because I was undefeated. I was British and Commonwealth champion at that time. I had a good career going, and I just felt most of the time like I didn't want to live anymore and I didn't want to be on this planet.
Were you scared to tell someone, talk about it, or?
I was afraid to come out with it because, I come from a long line of fighting men and I'm supposed to be a big, tough boxer.
Yeah.
Nothing can faze me. And all of a sudden I've got all these problems and I feel as vulnerable as a child.
Could this actually be your greatest achievement? Could this be greater than boxing, what you're doing here? Making awareness of this, because make no mistake about it, you'll know better than me. 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, nobody spoke about it.
I think this is bigger than boxing, much bigger than boxing. And this is the reason I came back and made the second career, second journey. Not for any other reason other than to document and to let people know how you can come back from suicide to back to the top.
And this is chapter 8 in the book, isn't it? Chapter 8, I believe. The dark sees you discuss your mental health.
Yeah.
So even just for that, it's worth getting a hold of the book.
I don't hold back any punches in this book. And when I started writing this book 3 years ago, I was very mentally unwell. I was drinking heavily. I didn't want to live on a daily basis, and I was 28 stone in weight. And that's from the beginning of the book to the end of the book. All this stuff's going on. I've headlined twice in Las Vegas. I've been headlined in Saudi Arabia. I've got a single coming out with Robbie Williams, an ITV documentary, an autobiography.
Yeah.
So it's all gone from absolutely terrible, disastrous moments in my life to as best as it could ever be.
So someone listening this morning, who do they go and see? It's not a doctor. Who do they have to see if they're feeling some of the symptoms you're telling us about, which is in the book?
Suffering with mental health problems, they need to seek medical advice immediately, whether it's a psychiatrist, whether it's confiding in friends.
And don't be scared to do that.
Definitely not. The sooner you get to grips with you need help, the sooner you can get into the recovery. If I would have went 10 years ago, I may not have had the breakdown, I may not have been through all this trauma, I may not have almost killed myself. Not everybody knows where I've been. All right, it's wrote down in a book, but unless you saw me at that time, unless you saw me have that mental breakdown, I moved my dad in my house with me because I couldn't sleep in the house alone. I thought someone was coming to get me. I couldn't sleep with the light out. I was in a mental wreck state. The only true place I thought I'd end up was padded room material.
Yeah.
Really?
What a story.
God,
that's gospel truth. I'm not here to tell lies. I don't need to.
No.
My life's been a roller coaster and I don't need to tell one lie about what's happened. But I was definitely in a mental, emotional, physical mess.
Wow.
I was verging on having a heart attack.
How do you stay away from that now?
Very, very easily. I didn't have the education of managing and maintaining mental health. And it got spiralled out of control and I couldn't do anything about it. Couldn't control myself. But now I've learned to manage and maintain. And I live a great life now. I've got more passion for life than I've ever had. I don't want to die anymore. I'm so happy. And there was times where every day was grey and dull and dark and I just give up so many times. But now every day's bright. And, I always like it. I use this as an explanation. Eagles wrote a song called Hotel California, and there's a verse in it and it says, you can check out any time you want, but you can never leave. And that's mental health for sure, because you can check out, you can go and get well again, but there's always going to be points where you'll return back to it.
Yeah.
But it's what you do when you return back. Grab Pat Sharon from the office, nick the champagne, let's get off it, just in time for Roland's.
That's that #1 for me.
Still a few
I'm a bit of Cammy, 100 to 1.
When them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing this'll be the day that I die.
What?
This'll be the day that I die.
'Cause I love you, baby.
Are we going to get #1? Do I take a bit of 4 to 1? Are you going to be #1?
Who knows? Who knows?